Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement that his proposed cycleway would cost $50 million and, quote, will create just under 4,000 jobs when it's being built, end quote? If so, Mr. Speaker...
Order.
Mr. Speaker, if so, just how many jobs have been created so far?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, that was the initial thoughts of officials and others looking at the idea on the day of the Job Summit. If you narrowly define construction, the numbers employed directly look like being around 500, of which 70 are already working. However, I'm confident, because of the hive of activity and excitement around local communities, councils and tourism operators, that we will see 4,000 jobs in the long term as a result of this project.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
That's a joke.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, if cycleways were the big idea to come out of the Employment the Jobs Summit, how is it that only 70 jobs, 70 jobs, have been created in the 16 months since the summit was held?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd say that the big idea coming out of the Job Summit was the fact that we got employers, unions and government on the page at the same time. And what a stunning success it's been, with unemployment falling from 7.1% to 6%.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, was the summit and its initiatives designed to deal with the immediate unemployment problems arising out of the global financial crisis? If so, how does he rate his achievement of his flagship initiative in creating just 70 jobs nearly a year and a half since the summit was held?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it's not for me to rate it. We can go and look at the commentators who said unemployment would be 11%. It's fallen from 7.1 to 6. A job well done, I would have thought.
Mr. Speaker,
the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, how does he define the term quick start when a year after he announced 7 quick start cycle trails, 3 still haven't even got off the drawing board?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't define quick start as the influence Phil Goff is having as Leader of the Opposition on the country.
Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, that was a very clear, straightforward question, and that answer in no way addressed it, and you know it.
Order. The dilemma I have is I couldn't even hear the question of the Leader of the Opposition because of loud interjections coming from both sides of the House. And it's very difficult for me to rule under those circumstances. I think the only fair thing under the circumstances is to let the Leader of the Opposition repeat his question.
Thank you.
Honourable Mr. Speaker, we don't need the question again.
Order.
I can paraphrase exactly for the Leader of the Opposition. He said,
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Yeah, my supplementary, Mr. Speaker, was this. How does he define the term quick start when a year after he announced 7 quick start cycle trails, 3 haven't even got off the drawing board?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, say again, I define quick start as making more of an impression than the Leader of the Opposition is.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, that was a serious
order. Is this
question.
A point of order?
It's a point of order.
Well, order, forgive me, I asked the member to resume his seat if he's... I invited the member to repeat his question, and his question asked the Prime Minister how he defined quick start. And the Prime Minister defined quick start, and that's the dilemma with that kind of question.
Speaker,
I'll
point
hear
of order.
the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, when the word quick start is used in relation to the cycle trails, it is used in a particular context and it has a definition, and that answer didn't even come near to it.
Order. The dilemma is in the construction of the question, because it's a bit dangerous to ask a minister how they define something, because it does give them a bit of licence to define things in a way a member may not expect. And order. Now, I think I allowed the member to repeat the question because I did want to hear it clearly, and I did hear it clearly the second time, and I think there's the opportunity to ask further questions. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, is it correct, as reported, that to date only 10 kilometres of new cycleways rather than upgraded track have been created, only 10 kilometres, representing a mere 150 metres a week of cycle trails since he announced it.
The Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, no, it's not correct.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It is, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, supplementary. If cycleways were such a good idea, as the Prime Minister has said, why has he slashed the funding for urban cycleways and walkways to half the level in the 2010 budget that the funding was for the 2008 budget?
The Honourable
Speaker,
Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, on the best of my knowledge, we haven't. But as I've said so often in this House, before, if Phil Goff wants to go into the 2011 election campaigning on ripping up the cycleway, bring it on. See you at the debate.
Question number 2, Craig Foss.
Mr. Speaker,